All right, bowl season is here. Moving on to Friday afternoon, we got the Gator Bowl. Notre Dame taking on South Carolina. Seeing the Irish in this spot as a 3-point favorite. That's up a little bit from 2.5 earlier in the week. And total has stayed pretty steady, down a little bit. Seeing it right now closing in around 50 or 50.5. I do have an official play on this game, and I have a pretty strong lean towards the total as well. But Notre Dame -3. It's going to be an official one-unit play for me. A lot to get to here. Notre Dame does have some key opt-outs, really two. Tight end Michael Mayer, probably the best tight end in the country, should be the number one tight end off the board in the NFL draft. He's opting out, as is Isaiah Foskey, one of the better pass rushers in college football. So two key losses for the Irish, but in that opt-out transfer department, South Carolina got absolutely rampaged. Their number one running back, Marshawn Lloyd, transfer. And their secondary was their strength all year, but their top two corners both opted out. Both of their top two tight ends transferred, starting offensive linemen, starting defensive linemen. I mean, they lost a lot here in the last month or so. And Shane Beamer is not going to let those guys play who entered the transfer portal. So this is not, we're not getting South Carolina at full strength here. I mean, this team had some glaring weaknesses throughout the season. And I think we're getting a discounted line based off two really strong performances to end the year. And that's great. They beat Clemson. They beat Tennessee in rather public fashion, but we can't forget some of the bad things we saw from the South Carolina team throughout the season. I mean, this offense was not good for most of the year, like by scoring 10 points against Missouri and 6 points against Florida. I mean, this was a bad offense for most of the season. Even with Foskey opting out for Notre Dame, still think this is a pretty complete defense. I think they should be able to stuff the run because South Carolina just doesn't have depth there. They were actually using Bell, their tight end, as kind of a pseudo running back, but now he's in the portal too. I mean, they are not going to be able to run the football in this matchup. They're at a disadvantage at the line of scrimmage. And I know Spencer Rattler has had his moments this year, and I've kind of defended Spencer Rattler at times, but still, for a guy of that talent to be at 7.9 yards per attempt, it's relatively unimpressive, and I'm not afraid to play against that. As far as Notre Dame's offense, definitely more of a run-first team. They have the clear advantage as far as establishing a run game here. They're stronger on their offensive line, and Audric Estime really kind of came along as the season wore on. I mean, 5.8 yards per carry. He finished with 11 touchdowns. I mean, he's developed into a good running back option for the Irish. Drew Pine, their quarterback for most of the year, is in the transfer portal, but as Pine goes, in comes their starter, Tyler Buckner. I view those guys as pretty interchangeable, to be honest with you. There's probably a reason why Tyler Buckner was picked as their starter out of fall camp too. So if anything, that might be a little bit of an added bonus for Notre Dame, in my eyes at least. I backed South Carolina this year and trusted their defense because, like I said, I really liked what they had at corner. But when your top two guys at any position just aren't going to be there, it's hard for me to trust that that's going to be able to sustain here in this bowl game. What we do know about South Carolina is, they can be had on the ground. I mean, early in the season, Arkansas ran for, damn near 300 yards on the Gamecocks. Florida, just a few weeks ago, ran for 375 on the Gamecocks. Vandy ran for over 200 yards. So this is not a special run defense by any means. I really think Notre Dame's going to line the ball up, play a physical brand of football. I think that's going to open up some opportunities for Buckner in the vertical passing game. At the end of the day, I like this matchup. And I think we're getting a discounted line with how South Carolina ended the season. It doesn't mean that, that doesn't matter. It just means that I haven't forgotten how bad this team was for pretty large portions of the season. So I'm going to play against that a little bit. Notre Dame -3 is an official one-unit play for me. I'd also lean towards the under as well. Two slower paced teams. I don't, even a good day offensively for Notre Dame, probably not going to get past 27, 28 and just have no trust in the South Carolina offense with their total, imbalance right now with really no run game. So I would lean towards the under in this matchup. I see a far bigger edge in just laying the 3 with the Irish here.